came back in New Hampshire. She came back on Super Tuesday. She came back in Texas.
That's what I'm saying.
What's going to happen if we know?
Because we need someone in this White House who will fight for us and who cares about us. Hillary has been fighting for us, our families, and our children her entire life. After college, Hillary had numerous career opportunities, but she chose to go door to door for the Children's Defense Fund and investigate why so many of our nation's youth were not in school. She's reformed the education system as First Lady in Arkansas and fought for the creation of the State Children's Health Insurance Program, which now covers over 6 million children nationwide. I'm voting for Hillary because she will reform our public education system. She guarantees universal early childhood education. She has a plan to make college affordable for all of our children. And she has a plan to get our economy moving once again. To introduce to you the next President of the United States, Senator Hillary Clinton.
As the governor said, what a terrific job he's done for you in Harrisburg, fighting for you, for your health care, for your jobs. You know, this is a beautiful spring day, and there's half of my campaign. I also want to recognize Vaughn Spencer, the Reading City Council President, Tom Herman and the Berks, Pennsylvania. I asked the governor what he had to promise, Tom. We have to fight to get the political will and the votes to make that happen. Now you can think about it. The wealthy and the well-connected have had a president. George Bush has been fighting for more tax breaks for the oil companies. George Bush has fought for more tax breaks and subsidies to the pharmaceutical companies, to the health insurance companies, to Wall Street. So he's fought okay, he just hasn't fought for the vast majority of middle-class Americans who get up every day, go to work, make a difference in their lives and their families. So I think it's about time we had a president again who would fight for you, fight for your job, and that's what I'm going to do. You know, for me, this election is one of the most important we've ever had. We cannot survive another presidency that ignores and denies, postpones and ridicules solutions for the problems that we have to address. We can't go and see more and more jobs lost. We can't see more and more assured. And young colleague Senator McCain said, keeping American troops in Iraq for another 100 years. So I have campaigned across Pennsylvania, and it has been a joy the last 6 weeks. I have to say, what a treat. We got child labor laws at the end of the 19th century in the Scranton Lace Mills, and he worked there for 54 years. Same job, every day, 6 days a week. Got up, left his duplex home where he was raising his 3 sons with my grandmother, both of whom were immigrants to this country. And I know we've got some first and second generation immigrant families here today in Reading that are part of, for the students who go to this high school and for the children I see in this audience. That is what I have pledged to do. I talk about solutions, here's what I mean. I mean an economy that starts working for everybody. Number one, we're going to strip out of that tax code any benefit that goes to any business that takes a job out of Pennsylvania and moves it to a foreign country. Tax breaks to help you do what you have to do for yourselves and your families. And we're going to start creating jobs again in America. We were doing that in the 90s. Some of us can remember that. You know, sometimes in this campaign, I hear somebody criticize the 1990s. And I always wonder to myself, well, that's fair. You can criticize anything in a campaign. But what didn't they like? The peace or the prosperity of the 1990s? So how do we bring that prosperity back? Well, we're going to invest in a new manufacturing agenda. We may not be able to bring back all of the jobs, obviously, that we've lost, but we can start making sure we're not giving them away. That means no more unfair trade agreements where China imports their steel to us and we send our jobs to them. That means we're going to take a hard look at every single trade agreement. I will renegotiate NAFTA. I will get tough on China. We're going to stand up for the American worker again when I'm president. Jobs that have to be done right here in Reading, in Berks County. Look at every single place that needs to be redeveloped, bring in new industry. And how will we pay for that? Very simple. I want to start a strategic energy fund. And I will pay for it by taking the subsidies away from the oil companies. They do not need and we sure do. By the federal government, the Justice Department, the Federal Trade Commission, into seeing whether or not the market is being manipulated. Because I don't understand why these costs have gone up so high. Number two, we'll release some oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. That'll bring down the price of oil. And we will consider having a federal gas tax holiday if we can make up the lost revenue by having a windfall profit tax on the oil companies so that they're paying for road construction and repair. I also want to have an infrastructure project. We need to be putting Americans to work repairing our bridges, our roads, our tunnels, our water systems, building our mass transit, our light rail. We could put 3 million Americans to work if we had a bonding program like we had during World War II. People bought bonds, and then we built the industries that enabled us to win World War II. Well, let's ask Americans to buy bonds and put Americans to work fixing up our country's infrastructure again. Losing your tax base, you don't have the resources you need. But if you lose quality, affordable health care for every single American, no exceptions. Here's how it would work. If you have insurance and you're happy with it, nothing would change. You keep what you have. You're lucky. It's something we've not been doing a good enough job. Talking about what I have done to try to help our veterans. I will do everything in my power to make sure they get the health care and the other services that they are entitled to. I believe strongly, my dad was a World War II veteran, that when someone serves our country, we have to serve them in return. That is my But of course, I have to win. And that really depends upon what happens on Tuesday in the Pennsylvania primary. Pennsylvanians have a tremendous opportunity to help pick the next president. And I am asking for your support and your vote. If people think about this more as a a job and a hiring decision, it puts it in a different light, because you're really deciding who to hire for the toughest job in the world. And you have to ask yourself, who has the experience, who has the strength, who has the track record,